I kid you not, Pisces, I pulled more than 4 cards when I was trying to figure out who to read for next, and all of them were your indicator cards. And I just did a reading for you, but it really feels like there is a resounding message that I need to do another one. So apologies to the other sides who have been waiting. They are coming, I promise. But it really feels like this collective needed to hear a message. So I'm really interested to see what we have in store for you. I did pull the 8 and 9 of Cups first. Again, both of these cards actually are associated with different decans or different degrees of Pisces. And when I saw the 8 of Cups, it felt like needing to walk away from something, especially with the 9 of Cups, where it is kind of that journey to find your happiness elsewhere. So this could already be a message. This could be part of the reading, or this could just be more of a confirmation for those of you who clicked on this video. I did also get the Knight of Cups and the Hanged Man, and again, both of these cards, as I read them, are your indicator cards, because the Knights typically represent mutable energy, which are the signs that end a season. So Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini, and water being your element. I think of the Knight of Cups as you. It's very dreamy, very romantic, very intuitive, kind of listens to that intuitive or heart voice. And the Hanged Man is also one of your cards as well. So again, there's just so much here where it's like, you're getting a different perspective. You've been getting a different perspective. Maybe it feels like things have been paused, or you've been waiting, or you just haven't had a break. You kind of just been waiting for something that hasn't happened. It feels like a little challenging. However, the plant cards I pulled for you are very, very positive, and I will actually do a tarot spread for you in just a moment. But I pulled the Fern and Wormwood cards together, and so I have growth and caution. And the caution might be a little different than what you expect, so I'm going to kind of explain this. With ferns and growth, ferns are very abundant in forests and many other habitats, and they actually reproduce asexually. And when I saw this card, it made so much sense to me, and I kind of knew it was going to be some message like this, because at the time of this recording, we do have Saturn that is just about to leave your sign. Saturn has been there since 2022 or 2023, and it's been bringing some restrictions, some lessons. It's been very hard to move forward, and it feels like there is kind of an anchor that you are letting go of right now. And it feels like there's finally this growth, there's this sigh, this relief. And I think this is going to be further compounded in June of 2025 through June 2026, when Jupiter is entering into the sign of Cancer, a fellow water sign. For you, this could be bringing more joy, more pleasure, even some romance or creativity, and almost finding your creative voice again if you've been feeling kind of blocked or disconnected from that. And it just feels like overall very, very positive energy, and you've kind of been in it. That's what I'm getting from this audience, from this collective. With the wormwood, this is actually quite interesting, because this is a plant that can be used to ward, but it can also be poisonous in some doses. And so with caution, it's actually talking about having a healthy sense of caution, or healthy dose of caution here. Because sometimes caution itself can be toxic or poisonous. If we are so cautious, we might not take chances. We might be too fearful to do the things we really love. And I believe it's something like your brain is about 2.5 times more wired to avoid risk than it is to pursue something different. So there really has to be a lot of motivation to overcome that, or a lot of willpower or determination. So that just might feel like something that's important to kind of share with you as well. You might be overly cautious, and maybe that's part of what has kept you stuck. But nonetheless, maybe it's a good idea to just kind of follow your heart, but also kind of have that groundedness about it too. Don't completely take your feet off the ground, which sometimes Pisces is a bit prone to do. But I feel like ultimately there is growth here. There is something that's very exciting here. You are finally, I almost feel like getting out of an overly cautious energy, or even fearful energy, maybe even purging something that is toxic. So I'm very, very excited to pull some tarot cards for you. I'm actually going to be taking the cards I got from the beginning and I'm going to put them back into the deck here. And so as I'm shuffling, I'm also going to remind you to hit like and subscribe, especially if you've been following around for some time and haven't done that already. Hit that bell notification so you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. I'm also probably going to be rebranding soon, so that way you can definitely be sure to stay in the know. I do have some links in the description of this video as well for all of my services, which you can book on my website, and you can also find all of my other social media accounts there as well. And just remember that these are timeless readings. They are also general, so not all of these messages are going to apply to you. In fact, it might even be a good idea to pause this video, really feel the energy in your body so you can know what is meant for you and what is meant for somebody else. And if this video just does not resonate at all, it's completely fine. Nothing went wrong. It just wasn't meant for you. You are more than welcome to check out the playlist on my channel for the other readings, maybe for your moon or rising sign or sun sign. There could be some messages for you there as well. So what are the messages that we have for Pisces? What are the messages? Usually I have cards falling out at this point, but I feel like I actually just need to pull them. And that to me is already kind of a message. Maybe you need to decide something. Yeah, wow. 8 of Swords and 8 of Wands at the bottom of the deck here, the two piles I just split. The 8 of Swords can be about feeling stuck, feeling trapped in your head. The 8 of Wands is kind of charging towards something, taking action, something happening very quickly. It feels like you have a choice here. Do I act or do I wait? But I think this is about you getting unstuck. So let's see. What are the messages for Pisces? Feels like there's already been so many coming through. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. So I'm just noticing at the bottom of the deck there is the 7 of Swords in reverse. Maybe you did catch someone who was being deceptive with you or just being disingenuous, indirect. That's kind of an interesting energy that just feels like it's floating around, especially with the Caution card. But I don't feel like this is something to be too wary of. Just a bit of an aside. Seems like it's kind of in the orbit for some of you. Maybe an ex, maybe a family member, something like that, old friend. But the card for the past for you was the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And sometimes this is kind of like being stuck in repeat, doing the same things over and getting nowhere, getting no progress, or maybe even just feeling burnt out entirely. It just feels like there hasn't been a lot of action, a lot of movement, or really progress is actually the word I am getting with this card. It's been very hard to move forward. This could also be involving a Virgo energy. That could be sun, moon, or rising. Maybe there's been someone who's kind of been stagnating in your life or stagnating you. But what's come from this past is actually the Knight of Wands, which is sort of interesting. Very different energy here. This is very fast-paced, kind of charging in, following your passion, and just going for something. I feel like you're taking a very different approach, or that is the advice for you, because the way that you've been doing things have kind of lacked life. It hasn't been giving back to you. It feels like now is the time to be taking chances or moving forward, or otherwise you're just feeling like more energetic. And I do think that is about you reconnecting with your heart, with your passion. Speaking of, we do actually have the Lovers very central to this reading. So there very well could be an important relationship that is in focus right now. Maybe someone is helping you move forward or maybe helping you move on. Especially if you have connected with an earth sign in the past, particularly a Virgo or even a late Leo. Maybe you're now connecting to a fire sign, especially Sagittarius, or someone who's kind of a late degree Scorpio. That could be someone who is kind of giving some passion to your life. Ultimately, though, this is your reading, Pisces. And when I see the Lovers, I think of a few things. Often this is speaking of making a commitment or making a decision, choosing to do something that is aligned with your heart. The Lovers can also represent a need to be vulnerable and a willingness to be vulnerable and to show your heart to the world or to another person. And that does require a tremendous amount of strength and courage. So there could be some different messages here for you. Maybe all of them are for you. It is also the card of Gemini energy, which we are just stepping into at the time of this recording. There is kind of a shift in the energy. And for you, Pisces, this is all about home, emotions, your upbringing. Maybe you're doing some inner child work here. Maybe there is a loving domestic relationship that's really in focus as well. Those are just kind of different sort of astrological themes that you could be exploring. I do also have the Magician. Again, interestingly, Gemini energy, but also Virgo energy, both of which are on the table because the Magician represents Mercury, which rules over both of these signs. You're manifesting something. You're acting on something. It's not about being passive, okay? You feel like you've been blocked, your manifestations have been blocked, but you might need to be taking a different approach. And I think you're doing that. I feel like you've been doing things in a way for so long that you're afraid to shake them up, Pisces, and you just need to do something differently. If this is your message, you're gonna know. Because I do have the Eight of Cups in the future. Again, the card that kind of started this whole reading off. You are moving forward. You are leaving some situation that hasn't been satisfying or that has even been depressing or disappointing behind you. You are leaving a broken situation behind and going off and doing something maybe new or unknown to you, climbing this mountain, but it's worth it. This is a chance worth taking. And I'm going to be honest, Pisces, I feel like with the Seven of Swords in reverse, I kind of can't help but wonder if you have been sabotaging yourself. And we all do that. I'm not trying to blame you or point fingers at you. I'm just offering some things for you to reflect on. I ultimately give these messages to help uplift and to liberate you. So if this ever feels heavy, just know that I'm not doing this to make you feel bad. I'm trying to reflect something that might be happening in your life so that you have the power to change it or at least see it in a different way. Any other messages for Pisces? I'm so curious about this Lovers. Tell me about the Lovers. The Hierophant. There could be something with marriage or kind of the traditional relationship that is in focus right now. And that's sort of funny because I did talk about domestic relationships before. And again, Jupiter is entering into your 5th house in June, and it will be there for a year. So whether you are watching this in the future, maybe this is talking about the year ahead at the moment you are watching, or some sort of callback to the time of this recording in 2025. Tell me a little more about this Hierophant. Wow, 10 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. Maybe you're getting through a hard time, a difficult patch with somebody. Maybe part of the difficulty that you are overcoming is a relationship that some of you are in or a connection that you're already a part of. And you're overcoming some problems or getting help. Because I do feel like ultimately there is something that you are leaving behind. I don't know if it's a relationship. Let me pull one more card. Because I feel like you're working things out. There's something in relationships that are working out, or you're meeting a relationship or person who is kind of helping you move forward again. Yeah, strength. This is a very strong connection. Whether you are already dating somebody or there's a new connection coming in, the quality of this relationship is very strong. And there may have been some struggle with the 5 of Pentacles, especially financial, or just kind of being down on your luck, one or both of you. And you're lifting each other up, you're helping each other, you're supporting each other, maybe even getting resources from one another or finding resources for the other person or together. You're lifting each other up, and that feels like a new kind of pattern for a lot of you too. You don't have to do this alone either. And that might be part of that caution. Can I really trust this person? That might actually be something that's holding you back. That might be a little toxic. That might be a little self-deceptive. Maybe you don't trust yourself with the Seven of Swords in reverse. Any other messages for Pisces? Anything else at this time? That was quite a few cards, so I'm going to shuffle again. I did notice the Five of Wands at the bottom of that pile, though. And sometimes that does indicate conflict or not really making much progress. Like things are sort of at a standstill, sort of blocked up. It feels like energy isn't being used the most productively. That kind of feels like past energy, though. And maybe there's other people around you who are kind of childish or combative. That could also be the source of conflict, too. Anything else for Pisces? Any other messages? Doesn't have to be anything we've talked about already. Wow. Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, you are at a turning point. I do also have the Four of Swords. It's interesting because even though things have been stuck, I don't feel like you've actually been able to rest. Or maybe you've been in this forced period of hibernation and now things are finally changing. There is a new chapter. Either way, I think you're feeling better. You're also ironically feeling more at ease, more well-rested. I feel like there is a new opportunity that's finally coming in, something that's taken some time, and maybe you've even needed to kind of sleep on something with the Four of Swords. What is this Wheel of Fortune representing? What is it representing? We have the Page of Swords, so you could be learning something new, learning new skills, having messages coming in right now, opportunities. There could be a lot of communication. And the Star feels very aligned, very healing. I feel like you're learning things that are helping you get back on track with your higher calling. Or finding a new calling, even. Maybe something involving writing. I could potentially see that with the Page of Swords. Or using your voice. You're growing and healing. Yeah, Ace of Cups. Again, for some of you, there could be a new, very important and kind of significant relationship coming in. But I think this is also just a renewal of your own heart. There is a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief. You're finally moving again. You're finally moving forward again. There's finally some progress. And it feels like a new beginning, like a renewal. Anything else? Anything else? The Knight of Cups. Again, a lot of these cards I was pulling for you at the beginning are coming back. This is your energy. Dreamy, romantic. You're feeling like yourself again. You're feeling like yourself again. And for some of you, maybe there is romance in your life, whether this is with a new or old relationship. Finding that flow, that connection. You might even be thinking about how you fell in love with somebody and what you fell in love with and kind of remembering that. And getting to the why, getting to the heart of things. Why did I move in this direction? Beautiful energy. I actually really like this energy for you, Pisces. It feels like it's been a bit of a challenging period, especially since you've had Saturn in your sign. And again, at the time of this recording, it is moving in just a few days on May 24th, on Saturday. So that's going to be something I think that's really going to help you just feel like you can move forward a bit more. Now, Saturn will technically be going back into your sign for a few months later on this year as it retrogrades, but that's almost like a review. That's kind of tying up these loose ends. I don't think it's going to be as heavy. It feels like you're actually finally integrating some of those lessons and moving forward from whatever has been holding you back for the past few years. I love it. I love it. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you've made it all the way until the end here. Drop a little star emoji too for that renewal, that faith, that moving forward, that guiding light. You can find all of the links in the description of this video for personal readings and energy healing sessions, as well as all of my other social media accounts. And I will see you next time, Pisces. I'm sending lots of love and blessings your way. Take care.